Welcome to the Lawns and Life podcast, where DIYers go to get the tips and advice they need to have a great looking lawn. Well, hey there, lawn lovers. Welcome back to the Lawns and Life podcast. So you're going to notice today is a very different episode. It's not my usual introduction. And I just want to be real with you. There's not going to be any lawn care tips. It's just me talking to you from the heart. I'm going to share something with you guys that I'm kind of excited to talk about. And I'm just going to be real with you. Over the past several weeks, I have been struggling, not in my lawn, not with my mower, but with something a whole lot heavier. So I haven't been sleeping. And it's as a result, I've been struggling with anxiety as well. Night after night, I lie awake. I stare at the ceiling. My mind is racing and my body is tired. Anxiety is running rampant. And my spirit, well, it's worn down too. Now, I still get up and I mow and I still post and I do all the things. I show up. But on the inside, I'm just running on fumes, and my mind is completely scrambled. You know, I never thought that I would be in this position, but I know that I'm not the only one. So, you know, life as a homeowner, a dad, a husband, a YouTuber, you know, it doesn't come with an off switch, you know, and sometimes all that pressure, it builds up. And so that's exactly why I'm sharing with you today, not because I have all the answers, but because I'm learning and I want to bring you along. So I'm currently in a sleep coaching program with a sleep coach. His name is Martin Reed, and his program has already helped me start seeing things a whole lot different. I brought him on the podcast to talk about insomnia, some of the myths around it, and more important, to let you know that if you are suffering from insomnia, there's a way out. So if you've been struggling quietly like me, I see you. You're not alone. Let's get into it. All right, guys. Well, I am so excited to introduce my next guest on the Lawns and Life podcast. His name is Martin Reed, aka the Insomnia Coach. Martin, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. I'm very excited to be on.
Well, I was telling you before, I really do appreciate it. Obviously, this is a lawn care centric channel, and you made it very clear we're not allowed to talk about lawns, so we won't do that. So for folks probably don't know who you are or why you're here, so tell people a little about who you are and your background, if you will, for just a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I offer sleep coaching programs basically that help people stop struggling with sleep so that they can get their lives back from insomnia. It came from an experience that I had when I moved to the States from the UK many years ago, and I experienced insomnia for the first time in my life. Created a lot of confusion. And obviously I wanted to fix the problem, but it seemed like the more I tried, the more difficult it became. And I found out that is a common hallmark of the insomnia struggle. And everything just kind of went from there. I wanted to share what I learned, and that's what got me on the journey to where I am today.
So I'm very much like you. I consider myself a lawn coach now. Obviously, you're doing something that I would think is a little bit more important. As someone who is currently in the middle and struggling with insomnia, lawn care, not really that important when you consider the impact and things that insomnia has. So again, I'm super grateful to have you on the podcast. And, you know, my goal for today is just to kind of pick your brain and make some of the misconceptions around insomnia kind of known to people, because as you are very much aware, and something that I was not aware before I've started on this journey, there are certain things that you can control in life, and there are certain things that you cannot control, and sleep happens to be one of them. But before we get into that, you have a lot of credentials behind your name, a lot of abbreviations. Can you, like, what are those? Because I mean, obviously, I know MD is doctor and PhD and all that kind of stuff. So, what are all those letters behind your name? What do they mean?
Yeah, well, it's my favorite flavor of spaghetti soup, I guess. But the I have a master's degree in health and wellness education. I have a certification in clinical sleep health from the Board of Registered Polysomnographic Technologists. They're the people that do the sleep studies. Basically, if you go into an overnight sleep lab, the BRPT are the people who license those individuals that take care of you when you're getting a sleep study done, and they offer a certification in clinical sleep health. So I have that credential as well. I'm also a certified health education specialist, and I am national board certified health and wellness coach.
Oh, that's fantastic. So I don't know if you know this, but I'm a chef by trade, and we chefs have credentials behind our name, like CEC is certified executive chef and things like that. So again, not nearly as important as the work that you're doing. So have you always been in sleep, or you say you moved from the UK and you came here? Was there like a life before you started down this journey?
Yeah, a lot of my work at that time it was still online. It was building online communities. And so this actually, it really stemmed from that, because when I had that little experience with insomnia myself, you can feel quite alone. And so I had this expertise already in building community. So I thought, well, how about I build a forum around this so people can join, and like we can kind of troubleshoot and figure out the right way forward, sharing the experience. So that was my background before, and it was almost like it set the foundation for what was to come in the future.
I guess where we need to start with this is like, can you define what insomnia is? Because again, I've been suffering from insomnia for about 4 or 5 weeks now, and before that, my impression of insomnia is very different as someone who is dealing with it as compared to what I thought it was. So for someone who maybe doesn't know what insomnia is, maybe knows the term but doesn't, like, can you explain that to somebody? Like, what is insomnia in your opinion?
In my opinion, insomnia is when we don't get the amount or the type of sleep that we want to get. Really as simple as that. In terms of like the formal diagnosis, it's usually related to something along the lines of difficulty falling asleep, difficulty staying asleep, or unrefreshing sleep. And then whether it's labeled as chronic or not usually is about how long this has been going on for. So if it's at least 3 nights a week for at least 3 months, then the medical community usually will label that as chronic insomnia at that point.
So it's again, my struggle with it now is insomnia just doesn't affect your sleep. A lot of it affects you even during the day. So what are some of the things that people who are suffering from insomnia are dealing with outside of just the sleep?
Yeah, fatigue springs to mind. Just this sense that you're just running on empty, like the batteries are just depleted. They're not being able to recharge overnight. And that comes with lots of symptoms as well, like with the brain fog. It can be hard, feel harder to focus. And then you've got all the mind stuff that comes with that. You've got the thoughts that come with it. Your brain wants to solve this problem for you, so it generates lots of thoughts about sleep. It becomes a really big focus, and there's lots of feelings that show up too. Like anxiety is probably the big one. That I'm still yet to meet someone struggling with insomnia who doesn't identify anxiety as a big part of the relationship, if you will. And when you combine all these things, it just makes things so difficult. because, like you said, it's not just a nighttime issue. Perhaps the biggest struggle with insomnia comes during the day with
Absolutely.
all the consequences of each night.
So, there, having a lawn care channel, there's a personality trait that I have found most people in lawn care have. Usually, we're a little OCD, like we're searching perfection, and so when you think about that group of people, like is there a particular demographic or cause or personality type that maybe lends themselves to getting anxiety? Because I know, like, I watch a lot of your podcasts, and the one thing that I hear a lot is, oh, well, I don't like to take pills. I don't like to take sleeping pills, or, so is there a personality trait that you found in your years that maybe lends itself towards anxiety, or is it just, it doesn't care who you are?
Well, I think all human beings experience anxiety. I think maybe the people that are most likely to get drawn into a struggle with anxiety or sleep are the people that have got like these superpowers of problem solving. They're very driven, highly motivated people. They see a problem, they want to fix it. And that generally steers us pretty well in life, until it comes to sleep, because that's one of the things that doesn't tend to respond well to ongoing troubleshooting and ongoing effort.
So, like what causes it? Like, how, I mean, you say it's just what causes anxiety, or what causes insomnia?
There's probably as many causes of insomnia as there are people in the world. There's countless triggers for sleep disruption. Our sleep is very sensitive to our experience of life. What really sustains insomnia is really all of our attempts to get rid of it. That's really what it comes down to. And it's understandable why we try and get rid of it. But it's equivalent to supplying oxygen to a campfire, or when you see those fire safety videos and the oil pan catches on fire and we dump the water on it. What happens? The fire doesn't go out, it multiplies 10 times.
Okay, so that kind of leads me into the number one thing that most people do when they suffer from a sleep problem, maybe a bad night, bad 2 nights. We jump on Dr. Google, and what comes up? Right? The old sleep hygiene, right? Like making sure your air is down and making sure so talk about, because I know you're really passionate about sleep hygiene. So what is it? And how is that the answer, or like, what do we do with what we find on Dr. Google?
Well, for chronic insomnia, sleep hygiene is not useful. It's certainly not useful as a standalone approach to insomnia, because, as I was saying earlier, really insomnia is kept alive by all of our understandable attempts to get rid of it. And what sleep hygiene does is it introduces all these new things, these new efforts, these rules, these rituals, these actions, where the intended outcome is to make a certain amount or certain type of sleep happen. So right from the start, we're kind of setting ourselves up for more struggle. Where sleep hygiene might be useful is if we're just someone who places no importance on sleep. We wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, we're working out for 3 hours, we go to work, we come home at midnight, and then we're working on the laptop for another couple of hours, and we're paying no attention to sleep. It's not a priority for us. Then maybe some sleep hygiene might be useful as a way to give sleep the opportunity to happen. But people who are struggling with insomnia, they're putting a big level of importance already on sleep. So they don't need to implement things that increase the importance of sleep in their lives.
Really, I think you make the comparison of like maybe having a cavity, right? Like you don't fix a cavity by brushing your teeth more, right? So you you're not gonna fix insomnia, which is your cavity, by just brushing your teeth, right? There's gonna have to be something else going on there. So I guess that leads me
Exactly.
to the question, and this is kind of the $1 million question that you see all over the internet, and that is, how much sleep do I need? So can you answer the question? Like, how much sleep should we be getting?
Well, it's a difficult one. I always think it's a little bit like asking someone what shoe size they should be, because really it's different for everyone. And we know there are averages. When we look at average sleep duration across the lifespan, again, it varies as we get older. Someone who's 70 years old is probably needs less sleep than someone who's 5 years old, and so they get less sleep. But average sleep durations are probably closer to around 6 hours compared to this idea that maybe it should be 8 hours. But really, everyone's individual sleep need varies. It's unique to the individual, and it varies from day to day as well.
So in the lawn care community, one of the biggest misconceptions that we have, well, in my coaching, it comes down to watering a lawn. And people will say, well, how long do I need to water my lawn? And most people say, oh, it's 15 minutes. And my question and my rebuttal to that is, well, how big is your lawn? How much sun do you get? There's all these different factors. And I don't know who, I want to go back and find the person that said 15 minutes, right? Because they've ruined, the lawn care community with thinking that 15 minutes is enough. And I'm sure you want to go back to the person that said 8 hours is the right amount of sleep, because that is probably just a big thorn in your side. Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought that the issue of lawn care would be so closely aligned with the insomnia struggle when you put it that way. But yeah, it is. It is just like that. That's a good point that you made.
Okay. So, so if I'm getting, say, 5 hours of sleep or 6 hours of sleep at night, is there any long-term health risk for me to do that? Or like, because I read online I'm supposed to be getting 8 and I've been getting 6, and am I gonna die early? Am I gonna get cancer because of that? Like, are there any proven health risks because of not getting those 8 hours or whatever?
Well, there's been no studies that have found that insomnia causes any health problem. There have been no studies that have found that insomnia increases risk of mortality, increases your risk of death. There's just nothing that's shown that. As to your question, is getting 5 hours or 6 hours, for example, going to be a problem for my health? Again, there's no evidence that says that is the case. But there is a difference here in terms of how much time you're allotting for sleep. Like, are you giving sleep the opportunity to happen? So if you're getting 5 hours of sleep a night because you're only giving yourself the opportunity to generate 5 hours of sleep each night, then you might be depriving yourself of sleep. And sleep deprivation is different to insomnia. But if you're spending 8 hours in bed, you're giving the opportunity for 8 hours of sleep to happen, for example, and you're getting 5 hours, well, then that's what your body has decided that it needs to generate for that night.
Yeah. Okay. So, is it possible to catch up on sleep? So, like so I slept 4 hours last night. Like, I'm going to sleep 14, 15 hours. I'm going to catch up on my sleep. Is that a real thing? Can you actually catch up on your sleep?
Well, the body does compensate for lost sleep by itself. So many people listening will probably have had that experience where if they have a night of shorter sleep, they might be more likely to get a longer period of sleep the next night. But that's not the only way the body compensates. It also compensates by changing the kind of sleep we get. We have these different stages of sleep, so it will spend more time in the deepest stage of sleep if it feels that it needs that, because we haven't been getting enough sleep up to that point. So to answer your question, the body can compensate for lost sleep by itself. We can give the opportunity for more sleep to happen, but we can't make more sleep happen. We can't force our own ideas of what catching up on sleep debt or compensating for lost sleep might be.
Yes, and I would 100% agree with that. So what makes insomnia so hard to cure? Like why is what makes it so hard?
I think that it's maybe because it's the outlier that doesn't respond well to effort. So everything we do in life, generally speaking, responds really well to effort. If we want a certain job, then we work hard. We get the credentials, we get the education, we get the experience, and we're more likely to succeed. The thing with sleep is the more we chase after it, the more elusive it can become. And when that doesn't respond in the way we want it to, then suddenly we're really confused and we feel like we're out of ideas. And the only other thing we've got left is to try harder. So then we get caught in that vicious cycle where we're just trying harder, struggling more. So we try even harder and then we struggle more. And it can feel like there's no way out.
Which is why those personality traits of those problem solvers really get caught up. And I am a problem solver. So when you said that, I was like, dope. I am that person. And so are so many. You talk about the parallels of lawn care. We are problem solving people. When we have a fungus in the lawn, my job is to teach them how to fix it. When we get brown spots in the lawn, my job is to try to help them, coach them for how to fix it. And so I'm a fixer, I'm a doer. And we'll talk a little bit about your program just a little bit, but like you said, this is something that you don't do anything. Like the less you do, the better it becomes. And that is so challenging because you want to do something. And that's just really hard. So what treatment options are out there for people who have insomnia? What are some options that if somebody is struggling with it, or like what can they do?
Well, the gold standard for treating chronic insomnia is cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI. But that doesn't mean it's the best approach for everyone or it's the universal approach that's going to work for everyone. Many people who have been struggling with insomnia for a long time will have tried CBTI. And because they are repeatedly told that it is the gold standard, they can feel that something is uniquely wrong if it doesn't seem to work or do anything for them. So I like to draw attention to that because that's not unique or unusual, and it doesn't mean someone's beyond hope. There are newer approaches too, which are more aligned with a different kind of philosophy that's called acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT for short. And that's more to do with accepting the presence of difficult things in our lives that are out of our control, for example, insomnia or the anxiety that likes to come with it, and committing to actions that keep you moving toward the life you want to live, even when it's present. So instead of trying to fight it, you are allowing it to be present, even though you don't want it to be. You're allowing it to be there and you're refocusing on doing stuff that matters. The idea being that the more you focus on living your life, the less of a problem that thing becomes, and the less of your attention it consumes, and the less power and influence it holds over you. And with sleep, when it's no longer seen as a problem and we're not engaged in a struggle with it, it's best able to take care of itself.
So I would be curious, and so for those of you that are watching or listening to this, if you've ever heard of CBTI, I want you to leave a comment down below and say, yeah, I've heard of it, or no, I haven't heard of it. 4 weeks ago, I had never heard of it. Part of my struggle was I went to my physician, and I had a panic attack, and they prescribed sleeping medication and things like that, and CBTI wasn't even a thought. So why is it in the medical community, if that is considered the gold standard, why is that not the first thing they did when I saw my physician?
I think there's a couple of reasons for it. The first is an awareness problem. maybe not all doctors are aware of CBTI as an approach for insomnia through no fault of their own. It's just that during medical training, very little time is dedicated to sleep. So without being aware of the presence of CBTI, the doctor wants to help you. So they're going to offer you probably either sleep hygiene or medication if CBTI
Or both
isn't
in my
mentioned.
case. It was both for me.
Or both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other issue is there are also doctors that are well aware of CBTI, but they don't have the time or the capacity to offer it in their office, and they don't have a referral network. There is a shortage of people that are qualified to offer that kind of treatment option. So even if you are aware of it, your doctor might, or even if your doctor is aware of it, they might be hesitant to even mention it because they've got no one to refer you to.
Yeah. So what is it that you enjoy about being an insomnia coach? I know for me, when it comes to coaching someone in lawn care, my job, what my goal is to get someone to feel what I feel about lawn care. When we have a nice striped lawn and it's beautiful, and I want someone to enjoy that. Now, you, on the other hand, it's a little bit different. So what do you like? What is your drive? Like, what is your why behind being an insomnia coach?
I get a big kick out of just watching people's transformations. When people first enroll, they are often, hopeless, or they feel trapped. They feel like they can't live the kind of life they want to live, that insomnia is just the biggest part of their lives, and that they just don't know how to move forward. And seeing that change over a period of time is really rewarding. And seeing someone's mindset of going from feeling quite powerless to realizing that ultimately they do have the power. They have all of the power. They get to control their actions, and that is where the power lies. And watching that sense of empowerment grow is just so rewarding for me to be able to be part of that journey.
Well, I, as someone who's currently going through your program, am incredibly blessed to have connected with you, and obviously to get you on my podcast and have a conversation with you, because 4 weeks ago I was in that position. I was desperate. I was hopeless. I was in a position I've never been in before, and so I'm not done. I'm still working. I got work to do, but I'm forever grateful because I know where I was. I know the trajectory I'm on, and so one of the first things that I learned in your program was that I'm not alone. You talked about in the beginning, it's building a community. So when I first got insomnia, or realized that that's what I was struggling with, I thought everything I was going through was unique to me. And then I started watching your podcasts like everybody else. I realized I'm not alone. So what are some of the similarities? Like, how in the world could it be that every human being literally follows this same roadmap as far as, I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, the trigger for insomnia may be a little bit different, but literally everything else that I'm going through, I'm like, yep, I did that, or yep, that sounds like me. So how is that possible? Like, what is it in our mind or our human nature that makes that where you're not alone?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it comes down to, two reasons. I think the first is as human beings, our natural inclination to problem solve. So as I was saying earlier, with insomnia, the more we try and problem solve it, the more we try to get rid of it, the more we try to make sleep happen, the more difficult it becomes. And the other issue, I think, is as human beings, we're hardwired to resist difficult or uncomfortable experiences. And insomnia is definitely uncomfortable and can be difficult. And anxiety that often shows up with it can be difficult or uncomfortable. And so because we want to resist that, which makes sense because it doesn't usually feel good, we then get in a struggle with that on top. It's like we're trying to push away the anxiety, and it's like pushing a beach ball under the water. The more we push it away, the stronger it pushes back. And so again, we're caught in that struggle loop, right? Where it's the more we're fighting, the more we're trying to resist, the more powerful that thing becomes. So to answer your question, I think it's just human nature is the reason why insomnia from person to person can be so similar.
Part of me is glad that it is similar because it is very comforting. Like, it was extremely comforting to know that what I'm going through, what I'm dealing with, the thoughts, and I'm not alone. And I take a lot of solace in that. And so, again, it's lonely at night when you're up by yourself and things like that. And so, to be able to know that you're not alone. That's quite powerful. So we're going to take a break for just a second. So I have a game on my podcast called This or That. Are you okay with maybe playing a little game? It's quick, it's fun, it's kind of lighthearted, just this or that questions, just to kind of get to know you maybe a little bit better. Are you down for playing a game real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
sure.
Let's go.
Welcome to a game we call This or That, a segment where guests answer rapid-fire questions quickly so we get to know you a little better. Answer quickly and try not to think too much. Just answer this or that.
All right, Martin. So I'm going to ask you, we've got probably 7 or 8 different questions, this or that. I just want you to just answer. Try not to think too much about it. And hopefully they'll get progressively harder as we go through this. So the first question is, are you a cat or a dog person?
Cat.
Oh, okay. All right. Would you rather go back to flip phones or back to dial-up internet?
Flip phones.
Okay. Are you a text or call person?
Text.
Okay. A night out or a night in?
Night in.
Okay. Android or Apple?
Android.
Oh, okay. So I got a little funny story. So my boss is an Android guy, and everybody in my office we're all Apple people, and so whenever you text somebody who's an Android person, it shows up a little bit different. So you're one of those people, unfortunately. But I always make the joke with him. There's no one on the earth more stubborn than an Android person who won't come over to Apple. So whenever you're ready to come over to Apple, we're glad to have you. Okay.
Well, you know what the funny thing is like I'm sitting here now. I've got like the Mac Studio running. I've got a MacBook Air behind this screen.
What are you waiting on?
Everything else is Apple. But I started with Android on the phones, and I don't know. I guess I'm going to stick with that decision and take it to my grave.
Well, as I just said, no one more stubborn than an Android person who won't just come over. Right. All right. So I'm into lawn care, but I am a chef by trade. And so I don't know if you know this, but James Beard was born in Oregon. You live in Oregon. And so in honor of James Beard, pineapple on a pizza, yes or no?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Yep.
And I feel like, it doesn't offend me. I don't have no strong feelings one way or another. I'll happily eat a pizza with pineapple on. But my daughter, who is 10 years old, she loves bacon and pineapple pizza. So I feel obligated to say it's A-okay.
There you go. Maybe a little country ham, not country ham, but just some ham pieces on there. Do it like a Hawaiian style pizza. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
All right, so you have just finished your meal, right? Are you going back for seconds, or are you going to save some room for dessert?
I would probably go for seconds first.
Okay. So do you have a dessert that's like your favorite? Like, do you have something that you like?
I can never say no to creme brulee. There's just something about that yeah, it's just impossible. If I see it on the menu, if I'm out, I see it on the menu, then I already know that that's what I'm
There
getting.
you go. So I was actually in New Orleans last week, and New Orleans, the restaurant that we ate at was called Brennan's, and it was they had creme brulee on the menu, but they also had creme brulee, or not creme brulee. That's what we were. They had bananas Foster on the menu. I don't know if you like bananas Foster.
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that.
You'll have to go check it out. So basically, it's just
All right.
bananas, a little banana liqueur over some cold vanilla bean ice cream. It's just fantastic. All right, and so the last question I have for you, being from Oregon, ducks or beavers?
Oh, got to be duck. So Eugene's just up the road. So
There you go.
I have no choice.
They'd come burn your house down if you said
Exactly.
beavers. Right? That's right. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for playing. I hope you had fun. Again, it's a great way for people to kind of get to know you a little bit better, maybe see a side of you maybe they've never never seen of you before. So thank you so much for playing. So can you share with me, with us, a success story of somebody maybe that you've seen transform, maybe somebody who, like you said, thought that it was over and they never thought they'd get out? So can you share maybe one that maybe means something a little bit more than some of the other ones?
Yeah, well, there's so many stories, and like you were saying, so many people's experience is similar. But I think some of the most powerful stories that spring to mind are the people that have struggled for the longest period of time. I've had clients that have struggled with insomnia for 40, 50
That's
years.
incredible. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine.
Yeah, and so understandably, those people just feel like this is the rest of their lives, but it's not, and it just means that that person just hasn't found the approach that's right for them yet. And in a way, there's a lot of advantage to having that longer experience with insomnia, which might be surprising to hear, because it means you've got this huge bank of knowledge and experience to draw from. So you already have learned so much, and using that in an empowering way to move forward, and to just be able to witness these people who have struggled for so long start to get their lives back, and do things that are important to them, and their actions are more aligned with their own values and reflect who they are, who they want to be. Their actions now serve them again, rather than their actions just serving sleep, just serving insomnia. It's just so rewarding, and they're always really powerful success stories.
So I started my channel. I've only been on YouTube for a little over a year, maybe a year and a half. And, when I started my channel, one thing I never realized was the impact that I would make on someone's life. And so the best thing, and I know you have to feel this way, we're humans, right? We're helping other humans. You're helping them in a different way. Obviously, I'm helping them with lawn care, but the interaction and the relationships and the people that I've met through this, like, I'll take that to my grave, to impact. And I mean, I'm talking grass, right? Like, this is probably the least most important thing on the earth, but I'm still impacting someone's life, and you are doing the same. So I know that's just an incredible feeling when you're helping someone, especially for you who feels hopeless. I mean, I know some of the guys that I'm helping have fungus in their lawn, and they feel like they're hopeless and the world's going to end, but it's not. It's just grass. But you're doing a tremendous job, and you're impacting so many lives, and that's just incredible. So how does someone get a hold of you or find you, or like, do you have a website? Can you talk about that for just a second? Like what's available for people to?
Yeah, the best starting point is going to be the website, which is insomniacoach.com. I was on that website. There's two main options there, I guess. The first option is there's a free email-based sleep training course. You sign up for that. You get an email every day for 2 weeks. And that shares information that's more aligned with the CBTI approach, the cognitive behavioral therapy kind of approach. If someone wants to work on a deeper level, then I offer a paid online course which runs for 6 weeks, and you can run through that by yourself. You can run through that with email access to me, or you can run through it with video or phone calls with me.
Yeah.
And that approach is more aligned with the acceptance and commitment kind of approach, the ACT approach, which is more about building skill in moving away from the struggle, which comes from trying to fight or avoid insomnia and all the stuff that comes with it.
Yep. And I will of course leave links and everything down below in this video, just for people to go find you. So I have again, I really appreciate you coming on and just kind of talking through this. And again, my goal with this video this podcast is to help people. And I know you were a little apprehensive, like, why in the world would I want to come on a lawn care channel? And my argument to that is, it's a lawn care channel, but at the end of the day, I'm here to help people. And so I don't know, people may be struggling with insomnia and don't know where to go. And so again, if I can just help that one person, it makes it all worth it. So I'm going to ask you a very familiar question that you ask a lot on your podcast. And so, Martin, if someone out there is suffering from insomnia and has tried everything, what would you, and they're feeling helpless, like what would you say to them?
I would say, first of all, that you're not alone. That what you're experiencing feels difficult because it is difficult, and that there is a way forward, even when you feel the most hopeless, that you're beyond help. All that means is you just haven't found the way forward that's right for you yet, and that's not your fault. And I would just provide reassurance that what you're going through is difficult, but it's not unique. It's not unusual, and there is a way through it, and it is possible to live the life you want to live and move past the struggle.
Very well said. Again, like I told you, I'm in the middle of this process. I'm not over it. I'm not done, but I 100% agree with that. And again, I really appreciate you coming on. And again, I just want to help people. And so I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me on. It's been great.
Yeah. All right. Again, I just want to say thank you so much to Martin for coming on the podcast. He is an extremely genuine, sincere person, and it's very calming. And I'm so grateful for him to come on the podcast. But I'll kind of tell you guys a little bit about my story so that you kind of understand what I've been going through and what I've been dealing with. So my battle with insomnia started about 6 weeks ago. I had one sleepless night that turned into two, that has then turned into probably the biggest struggle with anxiety that I have ever experienced in my life. It actually ended up putting me in the hospital as a result. And so people who don't have insomnia just don't understand. It's an extremely lonely feeling. You know, everything on the outside world is quiet, but on the inside, it's like being stuck in a busy airport with no way out. And so again, I'm sharing my story with you because I don't want you to feel bad for me. This isn't, hey, look at me, oh, pitiful me. That's not what this is about. This is about helping somebody. Maybe that somebody is you. Maybe that somebody is somebody that you know. This is by far the hardest thing that I've ever been through in my entire life. It's tested my faith, my ability to be happy. Now, I've come a long way from where I was even just 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I have a long way to go. The only way that insomnia wins is if I give up. And what I mean by that is, if I stop doing the things that matter, the things that are important to me, and that includes making lawn care videos, that includes making podcast episodes, being a dad, being a husband, going to work, being somebody that someone can count on. And so if I ever stop doing those things, because of insomnia, that's how insomnia wins. And I refuse to let that happen. As I reflect about what I've been through, I've come to accept insomnia now as a blessing. Now, sure, it's tough. It's been incredibly tough, but it's forced me to slow down. It's forced me to be more present, not to worry about the past, not to worry about the future. Because I can't control either one of those. I can't go back and change anything that I've done. I can't change anything about the future, right? Like, I can only live for now. My relationship with God is also so much stronger than it has ever been. I trust him now more than ever. I'm so excited this Sunday, today, as you're watching this or listening to this podcast episode. I am giving my life to Christ, and I'm going to get baptized for the second time. This time it's my choice. I was baptized as an infant, which was my parents' choice, but this one's about me. This one's my choice. This is my outward expression of my inward transformation. And I'm incredibly proud of myself for taking that step and showing my faith and not being afraid to show my faith. I also want to let you know that I am incredibly thankful for all of my subscribers, all of you guys. You guys are the motivation that keeps me going through the tough days, and those comments, those little things that you guys say to me. It keeps me going. It really does. And so my ask for you as a listener is to not let me give up. Don't let me let insomnia win. And so my message is, if you know someone who is suffering from insomnia, give them a hug, because I promise they need it. Tell them that they're not alone. Tell them that there's hope. If it's you that's suffering, please consider looking into CBTI. Again, it's considered the gold standard of therapy. And I don't even like the word therapy, because I think we as guys just don't like the word therapy. It makes us feel like we're weak. But there's no way to get through this without some therapy, because it really is. You need that therapy. So is it hard? Absolutely. But I know you can do it, because if I can do it, I know you can do it too. So again, I just want to thank Martin Reed for coming on the podcast with me. I want to thank him for putting this program together to help people who are suffering, because we're suffering. And lastly, I just want to take a moment and wish you a happy, heartfelt Father's Day. I hope it brings you time with your kids, even if it's a simple moment, a conversation, a hug, just maybe the sound of their voice through a phone call. Don't miss that chance to tell them that you love them. Don't miss the chance to tell them how proud you are of who they are. Because this Father's Day has an especially meaningful connotation for me. It's a reminder how precious these moments are and how deeply grateful I am to be a dad. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. As always, my name is Devin. I'm the DIY lawn coach, and I can't wait to see you in lawn. Peace.